Alright guys, this is your boy like one half Enduro back at it with another video. And to be surprised, as you see on the screen, who would have think 2 out of 3? I mean, it's the second time. This video gonna be earlier, but it's twice a week. There must be guys playing a lotto that I agree with Rachel Review Tech or Rich Tomorrow Now. And I might watch his video about why he got rid of Review Tech. Now again, like I stated before, and you'll hear it stated more in the other video, the next video that's with this. Look, again, if you tell me water is wet, ice is cold, sun is hot, why would I argue that? Even though you're a person I don't particularly look up to or like. Facts are facts. That's just it. That's how I get down. So we go with that. But everybody's saying Nintendo's not being Nintendo, which is a weird how that works out. Again, you go back in the history, you find out stuff, and how they are not. I hope I can roll this to another video. Let's see if it works. Without further ado, let's continue. And I like it. I want to play on this video the full thing what Shu Oshida said.
Yeah, so I was in the live reaction stream for not Easy Allies, Min-Max.
Yeah.
And I had to be pride. I wanted to be pride. So something I didn't say there was, to me, it was a bit, mixed message from Nintendo. In a
Really?
sense, I think Nintendo is losing their identity in my opinion. Like, for me,
Okay.
they are always about creating some new experience, like designing hardware and games, together to create something that amazing, new experience.
Mm-hmm.
But Switch
True.
2, as we all anticipated, is a better Switch, right? It's
Right.
a larger
Correct.
screen, more powerful processor, higher resolution, 4K, 120 FPS. They even had a hardware person starting the stream,
Mm-hmm.
like other platforms do, right?
So now they do what you did, that's a problem. Okay. And again, Nintendo always talk. The people always the only way they got to the Wii's when they stopped talking about power, and it went the other way. But from NES to Super NES to 64 to GameCube, they talk power. Get in or get out. Now you're playing with power. And how in 64 like Super Nintendo Power. Now you're playing the Power Glove. They always talk about power graphics, and they talk about 32-bit processors. They talked about it in their commercials. They had cord commercials. Don't get me wrong, but in it with the Metroid was like now you're playing with 32-bit processing and blah blah blah. And the same thing with the. Come on now, shoe. And basically that's what your company did. They didn't build any super innovation. Funny enough, they took most of the stuff from Nintendo's console, the eye camera and the whole move, everything. But okay, whatever. You had Blu-ray, you had DVD. That I would never take away from y'all. Y'all did that, Sony. Smart move. That's how you conquer the market. My hat is off to y'all in that. But funny, huh?
And because it's a better Switch, the core premise of the whole Switch 2 is, you know, we made things better. And that's something other company have been doing all the time. And of course, it's more
Exactly.
powerful
Of course. And that's what and y'all be getting money off of that situation.
Switch. So it's great if your gaming was only on Nintendo hardware. It's the first time for you to be able to play amazing games like, Elden Ring was the first time.
If I wanted to, I could go to PC if I wanted to, but maybe I don't want to play those kind of games. Maybe I just love fun, quirky, unique games.
But for us, like core gamers who own multiple hardwares and play games on, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, the, games they showed off, especially from third parties, in theory, it's amazing to have all these, all stars of industry games on Nintendo hardware. However, what they showed were like, ooh.
Now, Yoshida went on to talk about how he liked the mouse controls with the
Okay.
Joy-Cons, the camera. But other than that, he said he was disappointed because they didn't disappoint everyone. Because
Basically, that's what it come out to. That's the way I perceive it. Because it looked like they were like, oh, well, she's like, well, PlayStation really screwed the pooch this generation per se. We lead in between that and Xbox, but Switch killed us. So seeing that, I think Nintendo should come with something quirky, something different that will push us so we could steal later on, but then we could get like the market share. And knowing Nintendo, they're gonna do it because they did it with the Wii, so they're gonna Wii U. So this the Switch should be the Wii U, but the Switch 2, no, Nintendo, don't do that because that's gonna still sell. Boo hoo hoo.
that's exactly what a hardware corporation or gaming corporation wants to do. They want everyone to
Exactly.
be disappointed and hope that their surprise will take off.
Yep.
It's not 2006 anymore. Now,
Thank
look,
you.
I
I
understand
give you
that a
again.
lot of people forget the old Nintendo, okay?
Yep.
Like what happened from the NES to Super NES? It was a more powerful Nintendo Entertainment System. The architecture is different, but you get my point, right? You
It
could even
was.
go from the SNES to the N64.
To the 64.
They brought it into the 3D era, and it was
And yes, we know Rich can't keep his his condescending griping down. Let it slide for this time, guys. For more Floyd and everybody else, I know, but let it slide for this time. The point is, I'm making a bigger point here.
the most powerful console of the fifth generation. Now, there were issues with it that it didn't sell well. For example, Nintendo chose to stay with cartridges.
Smart move,
It
in my
wasn't
opinion.
really until in the GameCube we could go. GameCube is actually more powerful than the PS2, but
Yep.
the smaller discs that Nintendo used to mitigate piracy,
Because of the PlayStation 1 and the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2 problems with piracy. But again, third party asked for that. Nintendo gave them that, and then they fucked them over. That's where that generation as well is like, Nintendo, stop kowtowing to these bitches. And sometimes, and a lot of time, Nintendo didn't listen to what I was saying, and of course, what I was saying, I'm just a regular person. They had YouTube at the time, but that's what I was thinking back then. I was like, this is gonna be what it is, And I made up my mind literally at that point when Metroid Prime One brought me back to gaming because I was on the outs of gaming. I was done with gaming, and that game brought me back. I was like, you know what? Yeah. From this forward on, I'm mostly gonna buy majority Nintendo console, and if the other consoles has 10 exclusives that I would like to buy, I will buy it, and I'll buy the console. And the reason I say 10 because back then I wasn't buying a lot of games. I think I had like 5 games for the NES, and I rented everything else. Maybe 5 games for the Genesis and rented everything else and beat it and had fun. 64, about 5 games as well. GameCube, I have a little bit more. I have like, I think 12 or 13, maybe 15 games, of course. Games. Dreamcast, 15 games. PlayStation 2 was about maybe 10 games. So I didn't, so that was my minimum at the time. I wasn't playing games like crazy. I was renting from Blockbuster and beating them and then sending it back. That's how my lifestyle was in the 90s. But then seeing that it was going forward and Blockbuster was slowing down and it's going to die, and I was like, oh, that's going to die. So I said, I made my mind up. I said, all right, I'm going to let someone do it. So the PlayStation Vita, I have 10 games. PlayStation 5, I have 10 games. Dreamcast, of course, I have more than 10 games. That's my point. Like, I have to have at least 10 games that I want to play on that console for me to buy it. Xbox 360 was the closest one. I saw about maybe 50 games of what I like, and I was going close though. The regular did stop that. Xbox One, no. Xbox One X and S, no. No games make me feel like I wanted to. Whatever. PlayStation, they had to start off some games, Spider-Man stuff. That I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna. And then they started to do this bullshit where they don't got no exclusives. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna buy third-party games on the PS4. If I fail, sorry, on the PS5. If I feel it's good, and it's gonna be like my PS5, PS4 console. So that's the way I went with that route.
Didn't really get into online gaming like Sony and especially Microsoft did during the 6th generation. They're still catching up to that. Let's keep it real when it comes to online gaming. But it really wasn't until the Wii that Nintendo tried to be completely different. And that was lightning in a bottle, okay?
It was.
Lightning in a bottle, excuse me. At the time, there wasn't smartphones. The casual gamer or the casual consumer, they saw the motion controls. They saw Wii Sports, which was a brilliant move by Reggie to make that a free pack-in game with the original Wii. And that's why it sold so well. And I'm not saying there wasn't fantastic games for the Wii. There was Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 2. The list goes on and on.
Red Steel.
At Mint Mobile, we're always looking for innovative ways to save you money, so you can keep paying $15 a month for.
But
another good one.
To me, the Wii, and I saw it firsthand for many people because they just bought it for Wii Sports, was the most successful dust collector of all time. There are people to this day in 2025 who don't play games at all. Next to their OLED TV or whatever the hell big TV they have that still have a Wii there collecting dust. It still actually looks fairly modern and nice, to be honest with you, but it's never touched. They bought it for Wii Sports. They bought it for a couple other shovelware motion control games, and they never touched it again. And Mr. Yoshida, Nintendo tried to catch that lightning in a bottle again with the Wii U. That was during the tablet craze where everyone thought they could.
And that's what he wanted, because he was a tablet craze, and then he wanted it to die. And remember, Yoshida has bought every Nintendo console, and he said he loved Nintendo consoles as well, too. So it's kind of weird now he's like saying that, but I get it, whatever.
Create their own iPad, and they had the Wii U gamepad with the screen, where even if you never touched the Wii U gamepad screen, you had to have it tethered to it. If you didn't have the Wii U gamepad working, the console was a brick. Now, Nintendo learned a lot of lessons from that, and that was what was the brainchild, the Wii U, for what the Switch ended up being. If you think about it, the Switch was the Wii U gamepad, but it wasn't tethered to a console connected to your TV. It was the console. But Nintendo found something that works. There's an entire industry now based around hybrid consoles. We have the...
Are we surprised by that? No. Again, they didn't create hybrid consoles. Don't get it twisted. No. They, as I've said, the word when it comes to Nintendo, they mainline it or mainstream it. There was controls that was remote wireless before the Wavebird, but it was the Wavebird that made it what it is to this day. D-pad, same thing. Shoulder button, same thing. Rumble Pack, same thing. It was Nintendo stuff. So, how that works out, ain't it? Now you have Ally and all the other stuff. They're good. And all those people, I saw a video today where I'm gonna use this video, but I'm like, no. But yeah, I see another person. You said, hey, this is blah blah blah, and I'm like, you know what? That's cool. Yeah. Go ahead. And he was saying that, Ally and the Legion is way better than the PlayStation, better than the Switch 2 and stuff like that. And I'm like, true. The one thing they don't have is Nintendo games. That's all. But you can emulate it. Again, y'all want to steal the water to drink, but then when the water gets cloudy or dirty or murky, then you're like, oh man, why did the farmer or the person who owns the water keep it clean or whatever, when you keep on going there kicking up the dirt in the water when you try to steal it? And then when they stop making the games, then you're like, oh man, remember the good old days we had games from Nintendo that was blah blah blah. I guarantee you this, by the time I hit I'm 40. And I hit 60 or 675, God bless, and I live to live like long as my grandmother. and Nintendo finally falls apart or whatever, I guarantee there gonna be videos of nostalgia. Just right now, they got videos of nostalgia of the '90s. They're gonna be super nostalgia, man. Oh, Nintendo was too greedy, but I miss their games. That's what you're gonna hear. That's literally what you're gonna hear.
Steam Deck, the Steam Deck OLED, the ROG Ally, the ROG Ally X, the Lenovo Legion Go. They're coming out with a new one that's going to have Steam OS on it. It birthed this entire industry because people love the idea that they could take the same AAA games that they could play on their home consoles on the go. Now, the one thing I'll give to Mr. Yoshida is that, Nintendo laid the groundwork. They made the foundation for all of these other hybrid gaming PCs that are basically, they look like Nintendo Switches. And now Nintendo isn't the only show in town, so it'll be interesting to see how the console sells. I still think it'll be successful, but will it be original Nintendo Switch successful now that there's competitors? But for Nintendo, for what he was insinuating, for Nintendo to scrap a winning formula of the Switch and just come out with a completely new hardware where you use a bird as a motion control and just go into another gimmick would be lunacy. All people were asking for, the consumer that's going to buy the product was asking for, whether they're a casual, whether they're a diehard for Nintendo exclusives, or whether there's someone who they're not a diehard for Nintendo exclusives like me, but just want a more powerful Switch, was what Nintendo showed. A more powerful Switch. And to say that Nintendo's showcase of games.
And if you know, I said it since 2020, it's going to be a derivative console. After I figure out that you're going to need more consoles, it's going to be a derivative console. I've said that since then, so
was mad, which was another thing that he was heavily insinuating. It just boggled my mind. They showed off Mario Kart World. Not that I'm a big Mario Kart person, but that's a huge title to launch with. You have Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is coming out this summer, which looks absolutely amazing. You have Dusk Bloods, an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch 2 from Software, the people behind all of the Souls games, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and Elden Ring is coming out for the Nintendo Switch 2. And look, I get what he's saying. There's many devices right now that could play the third-party games that were shown there, like Cyberpunk 2077. You could actually play that on the Steam Deck. You could play Elden Ring on the Steam Deck. But to have a Nintendo console that could give you all those experiences in one place, that's like the Super Nintendo era to me, and that's a great time, and I'm glad that Nintendo pretty much listened to what all of the consumers were saying in terms of what they wanted from the hardware and put it into the Nintendo Switch 2. So to have Shuhei Yoshida say, like, they should have just scrapped it and came out with something completely different with the gimmick, which is what he was pretty much insinuating, is going to use the phrase you used towards me back in the day on you now, Mr. Yoshida, is so stupid. This is Rich tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the point. I'm talking about right there. And again, I agree with Rich right there in his stance, because that's what people need to understand. The thing about it is, you have variety, and you don't have. You have. Look at this. Let me get this straight. PC gamers, y'all, which some of y'all PC gamers are nut job to solve. But you have all those hybrid consoles. They're handheld PCs. They're handheld PCs that you can play. Enjoy them. You got PC. You have Xbox. You have PlayStation. The way that it's like Nintendo came and slapped your money out of your hand. Then they had a gun to your head to tell you buy the Switch 2. You don't have to. My goodness, what is going on with the gaming industry right now? That's why the bubble popped. It had to pop, because it was never going to sustain itself. So now you got people, Nintendo, I'll say one thing about Nintendo. It's not a perfect company. Never will, never is. But a lot of the people, the way I want Nintendo to be run, no, either too, because again, nobody foresaw that Iwata would have passed away and things that happen. We know Shigeru is gonna have to bow down soon. Sakurai is getting up there, but he's making this game. Like, you have to have new people, and I'm hoping these new people do the best as they can. A lot of people don't like them. It is what it is. That's why I say change is constant. So live with it. Buy the stuff you could buy now if you could afford it. Don't put your wants before your needs now. Don't be stupid. Be like one of the other guys you see in the videos that I'm posting this week. He said he waited until 2001 to buy his Nintendo Switch. Good for him. Wait. You're not in a rush. Just wait. And if you don't want to buy it, you have 10,000 games of the visual Switch to buy. Oh, sorry. To buy at a low price of you get it for cheaper. You go to GameStop, you get a Nintendo Switch for cheaper if you want to, and stuff like that. But now they're saying you got Nintendo is lazy and have low whatever. Okay, so let's listen to this video. I'm combining this together because this video was linked through the rich video that I just watched. And the screenshot was kind of unique. So let's see what this guy said. I'm trying to combine them all together, get everything done.
Criticizing the Nintendo Switch 2. Most of my criticism focused on the sheer greed of Nintendo. Now I did commit a couple mistakes.
Sheer greed of Nintendo, like Sony and Microsoft ain't got. What company don't want money? I don't get it, but whatever. Yeah, we do this for the greatest of the. We do this for the greatest of the majority. About 99% of companies is trying to do it for money. There's 1%, and those are the angels who try to get nonprofit. Because even, to be honest with you, even nonprofit scams people and try to get multiple millions of dollars for themselves. So not even the word nonprofit means nonprofit. Jeez.
And I will own up to that and correct myself. The Nintendo
Really?
Switch 2 will not cost $500 like I stated, but it will cost $450 instead. Some people said that I was also wrong in the pricing of the games, that they were not gonna cost $90, but according to every single source that I can find, yeah, they are gonna cost up to $90. Am I missing something here? Some Nintendo...
Yeah, you're missing something. In Europe, not in America. Good grief. It's $79.99, dude. Jeez.
Switch 2 games are gonna cost up to $90, which is an outrageous price to pay. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and correct myself. The Switch 2 is gonna cost $450, and the bundle that comes with Mario Kart World is gonna cost $500. Now in the comment section of that video, I was bullied into accepting the bare minimum. Somebody also called me broke, which is such a dumb insult to throw when someone...
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. See, that's what I'm saying. I ain't gonna say you're broke. Again, if you can't afford it, that doesn't mean you're broke. It means put your needs before your wants. I would love to have me a new Nissan Sentra. I would love to, if I have to be honest, I would love to get me a new Lexus, which, you know, my mother-in-law just, you know, my father-in-law just bought, and he lets us drive it around, and I like that car, and I'm saying here, and the next car I get might be this type of Lexus. Can I buy it? Yes. Can I afford it? Yes. Do I need it? No. So my car drives. It drives for the last 13 years. Keep driving, baby. Keep driving. 13 years. My first car I came to America drove for 19 years. I drive until the wheel don't fall off, because I donated my older car. I donated to the Army, and even the guy who picked up my car was like, "Wait, your car's not broken?" No. He said, wait, you're the first, I've been doing this for 7 years. You're the first car that's getting cars for vets, and your car is working. God bless you, man. Yes. I takes care of my shits.
Is criticizing an outrageous price. And you know, it's comments like this that have me worried for the gaming industry, especially Nintendo.
Why?
Look, I understand that video came off as me hating on Nintendo and brushing off the Nintendo Switch 2 as a complete failure, but I feel like fans have every right to call Nintendo out like this. You know, before we continue...
You sure? Like I said, you have your right to your opinions. I can't argue that point. Opinions. This is how you feel, this is how you feel. I only could argue facts, and that's what I have done. But preference and feels, I'll leave it to you.
The video, let's go to read some of these comments. Now, as much as I want to reply to every single comment individually, I feel like that's just gonna...
Oh, so you're gonna read to the comments. Oh boy. Oh, this is not gonna be a good video. I'll stop it when I feel like it needs to be stopped. So if you see me broadly stop it, it's because I got too bored of this. But again, yes, Like that comment, the first one he just said, yes, that I wouldn't. That's being a jerk. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, let's go.
A huge waste of time, but my points still stand. I still stand with the points I made in that video. Besides the mistakes, I stand with everything that I said in that video.
Please do a bit more research. I usually wouldn't comment this, but you have so many things wrong, though I agree with some of your points. $450 for the console, $500 for the bundle, 80 USD for the physical. I think you forgot what you're supposed to be bashing on. You complained that Nintendo did the bare minimum for Mario Kart 8, then you barely say that Mario Kart World is the bare minimum. Wouldn't you be happy that a brand new Mario Kart game is coming out? You're contradicting yourself. Mario Kart 8 was released for a definitive edition, new battle mode, and because Wii U was a failure. Worse battery life because of the demand of the power within the console. Plus, there really isn't a place where you can go where you can't charge your Switch. If you're somewhere like outside, don't play it in the first place. Enjoy life. If you
Okay, this one is kind of, I'm back and forth here in the comment, and I should let it go. Back and forth. I hear what he's saying, and I know this, and I hear what the commenter is saying. I agree with some of the stuff he's saying. The other part about it, like I said, yeah, I don't do that. If I'm going someplace and I have my Switch, I fully charge my Switch and I play, and when it's done, it's done. I accept it as what it was. It's the same thing I did with my DS. When I have a DS and my Game Boy and my 3DS. If I could charge it, that'd be better. That's if I'm flying, I'm going someplace else, I'm charging it, that's better. If I ain't but I ain't doing that, so not really care.
are going to be playing online, then there's no reason to have voice chat. Just use Discord if you want to talk to your friends.
Exactly.
Nintendo Switch Online costs $20 a year. PlayStation Plus costs $80 a year. I think it makes sense. The less it costs, the less it's worth. The download cartridge thing only applies to third-party games, and it will say it on the box if you need to download it. This sounds like a whole lot of yacht that is completely one-sided. This sounds like it was made to hate Nintendo rather than show a non-biased first impression. You keep comparing.
There's no such thing as unbiased, but so far, you know what? I agree with this comment. He's 90%. I agree with what he's saying. He's not saying nothing wrong that I won't say. You're correct.
It to more powerful consoles, as if comparing a machine that stays stationary in someone's room and a machine that can be played anywhere is a fair comparison. Then you start comparing it to the Steam Deck, which is going for different objectives, bringing PC games portable while Nintendo is making a portable Nintendo console. Then bringing up GTA and justifying GTA's price point as it was.
And GTA did again. You ain't catch. I'm not like GTA. I'm just not my thing. So whatever.
Be more realistic, and then saying what does Mario Kart have to offer, as if Mario Kart isn't the go-to party game in every house.
Well, it is. It's sold more than any other gaming party game out there. He's not wrong. He's correct, and you're laughing, but he is correct. He's correct, sir. You making fun of him, but he's correct.
The only real criticism I can see being made for Nintendo is the fact that the tutorial's paid, which I can see being a really scummy thing to do.
I agree with that again. Wow, I agree again. So what are you going to say to this cat? Because what he said is basically true. And he took the time to write all of that down. Bravo for you. I am not doing that, but bravo for you, the commenter.
But everything else is simply inflation and things being done.
It's not only inflation, it's other stuff. It's gaming change, the bubble popped. It's not only inflation, it's a part of it, but it's not inflation. A little bit of it's going to be tariffs going in the future, but it's not inflation only. It's multiple stuff. It's never one thing.
By every other company. At this point, you're just hating just to hate rather than show the positives and negatives of a thing. Mario Kart World is a new game from the ground up, so I'm not sure why you're bringing Mario Kart 8. 1, you got the price wrong. The games have price ranges.
Oh, there's a multiple comments. It's not the same person. Okay, yeah. Wow, okay. Go commenters. Jeez.
From $70 to $90 depending on what game it is. Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be $70 to $80 and Mario Kart will be $80 to $90. The starting
what this showed me is you did this video just to jump on the rage bait. That's what you did. Instead of wait. Again, I'll help you out here, my young friend. Nintendo did not help by not clearing up a lot of their stuff. So that's not Nintendo's fault. Boo Nintendo, tomatoes, throw them. But I myself had fallen into my thing of what I don't do, which is take the time to relax. Don't comment. Wait 72 hours after the event before you comment, because so much things could change. And that was my fault, and I faulted that, and a lot of information was wrong. But again, Nintendo did not help this case. I will not argue and say Nintendo did a great job in portraying the information. They did not. Okay, I agree with you on that, and we could have that situation set up. All right.
Price for the console will be $450. That is only $150 more. Inflation is a big part in why you can't sell something that costs $400.
Well, again, this is the only part of the argument I disagree with. It's not only inflation only. That's why when I did that video and I got bored when the guy was talking about inflation, it's not inflation only. It's a lot more stuff than inflation. Again, market prices go up. Games are getting more expensive to make than to play. That's the part that killed me. It's getting more expensive to make these games. It's more expensive to create these games. Yeah, Nintendo is working on the same computers that made Mario 64 back in 1994, 5, and 6. They're using the same computers. No, they're using high-end computers that cost more money. Duh. The computer that I built when I came to America. The computer I built when I first came to America, I built that son of a gun for $400. I remember it. Was it a powerful bad boy? No. But it was good enough. My second computer I built was powerful at that time, of course. And I used it as a gaming PC/console situation because I hooked it up to my big screen TV so I could DVR some of the TV shows went down and my TiVo, whatever it was popular and stuff like that. I was enjoying that. And that computer lasted all the way until last year, and then the motherboard crapped out. But everything else still worked. I have to also get rid of the what do you call it? I have to get out the PC. I know the CPU worked. The motherboard crapped out, and I had to get rid of the memory sticks because that was DDR2. Oh my goodness, how far back that was. Oh my lord, DDR2. I know DDR3, I think it was. It was DDR3 at the time. 2 or 3, I can't remember right now because I'm at work. Yeah, that's what it was. And it's still working to this day. Thank goodness. Can it run stuff that I'm using right now? Hells to the no. Hell no. To the nah. Ain't no way it could handle the 4K graphics, video editing, and everything and stuff I do. Heck, my last PC that I built that I gave to my sister, it still took several hours to render 4K droning videos that I had. That was 15 minutes. It took like 2 hours to do that. The new PC I built now, it takes 23 minutes to render, about 10 minutes or 30 minutes of 4K video. That's a way better improvement. But again, the tariff thing, no, that's not the only thing. Y'all need to stop that. That part I would say, that's the part you need to stop.
Make at the price of $200. The parts got more expensive, therefore,
True.
If they do not charge more, they will lose money, which they can't do because they don't have another source of money like Sony and Microsoft do. They are purely a gaming company. They made one movie so far and they are putting a lot of money into more movies. Nintendo could pull the same gut punch as before with sacrificing power for some gimmick, which was fun before, but they need to innovate, so they did, and now we are complaining. Go up, buy the console, and enjoy what you get, and not make Nintendo call down Jesus to make the perfect console for the cherry on.
Again, the fun. I agree with this part, except the tariff part. Is the funny way he goes around is what I agree with. I don't agree exactly. He said parts and blah blah blah. But I need the funny way around. You don't have to buy the console. Don't buy the console. Leave the console alone. Don't buy the console. That's all I'm saying. Leave it alone.
top, Sony still sells their console for $500 with a small little platformer instead of a racing open world game that has been hyped for years. And Microsoft is selling theirs at the same price as the Switch, with it still being the same console that has existed for years but with better specs. At least Nintendo has kept with their portable console and made it just as strong. The Switch is barely bigger than my hand. That is really damn impressive.
Blah,
Do
blah,
you
blah,
see
blah,
just
blah.
how dangerous these comments are?
That's
They're
blah,
basically
blah, blah.
telling me to accept the bare
No. Those comics were saying stuff. And they didn't tell you to expect the bare minimum if that's where you're going to go, you moron. No. And again, I don't understand this. Why is that the bare minimum? It's your money. If you expect the bare, you pay for something that's simple, then pay. Again, that's why I buy the console. Because I just want a plug and play situation. Excuse me, I want simplicity, sorry. So if that's the bare minimum to you, I don't know, what do you think is, maybe you tell me in this video, what do you want? Tell me what do you want in a Nintendo console, my friend. Please tell me that, because, just saying.
minimum, and to be grateful that Nintendo barely innovated their console. And sure, comparing the Switch 2, a handheld